In any macro-economic scenario, the trade agreement between the EU and the Mercosur nations emerges as highly relevant, particularly for Italy. This agreement, drafted in preliminary form by the Commission, is currently under discussion in the European Parliament and Council. A key point of contention lies in the concerns of the agricultural and food sectors, while the industrial sector is supportive, regarding the competitive threat posed by South American products. The Commission has proposed compensation measures for European producers who may be adversely affected, in order to mitigate opposition from certain EU member states. My team of researchers and I propose a broader compensatory and competitive vision, bearing in mind the government's plan to raise Italian exports from €620 to €700 billion annually, not solely through support measures, but via market-driven tools powered by a Euro strategy of economic geopolitics. The tariff-based approach adopted by Trump has compelled exporting nations to the U.S., especially those with export-led economic models that are not easily adaptable, such as Germany and Italy, to seek alternative outlets for their exports, anticipating both a decline in volumes and a compression of profit margins. There is another issue. The current Trump administration does not appear to be well equipped cognitively or strategically, as noted by U.S. colleagues in my research group, to win the contest for influence over the global South between the Democratic bloc and the bloc of authoritarian regimes. Consequently, those same U.S. colleagues believe that, for a period of time, the EU should take the initiative, anticipating that the U.S. will likely realign with the EU after a change in administration, hopefully sooner, should Washington return to a more realistic approach. In the meantime, it is important to avoid excessive divergence from the Trump administration's stance during its term, in order to prevent a deepening of Euro-Atlantic rifts. This view has prompted, particularly among Italian and German colleagues, with support from British and Dutch counterparts, the development of a hypothetical strategic scenario aimed at identifying the conditions for both a substitute global leadership role for the EU, in collaboration with the Commonwealth, and market-based compensation for the European agricultural sector. In a preliminary simulation, the conditions required to achieve this outcome identified 3 actions in addition to the Mercosur agreement. A. Acceleration of a coastal and deep Mediterranean market with gradually decreasing tariffs, ECUMEN, emphasizing food exports in exchange for energy and critical minerals. B. A trade agreement between the EU and the United Kingdom, leveraging the Commonwealth and placing emphasis on an EU-Australia trade treaty. C. A push to integrate the Mercosur agreement with Chile and with the remaining framework of the former TPP, now led by Japan following the U.S. withdrawal, involving around 10 Pacific nations. All of this would be preceded by bilateral strategic partnerships between European and non-European nations in the targeted regions, with the most delicate and urgent being with India. This geoeconomic expansion of the EU entails private investments shielded by a geopolitical umbrella which, in initial simulations, appear to have an enormous financial multiplier effect. I urge the Italian and German governments to assess this proposal for a joint initiative within the EU, suggesting the creation of a preliminary Global Europe Forum, with London included.